You need to create a conscious direction. This is going to be really important for young people especially, and basically anyone at any point in their life who wants to learn more about how to create direction in their life, and especially in a way that is compatible with how their mind works. Now let's get right into this. Right off the bat, you want to learn more about your personality, and you might think that you already know about your personality. I already know about my preferences. I already know. No. Actually take some high quality personality tests. And I'm going to tell you some right now. Some are the Big Five, the Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram, and a bunch of other stuff like comparing left brain versus right brain, for example. There's a lot of tests that you can take. And I would highly recommend actually sitting through these and getting very curious about the results and actually really thinking through a lot of the questions, to be honest. Now, this is absolutely essential for creating a direction that is compatible with your psyche. It's very easy to assume that you already know enough about your personality. I'm funny, I'm smart, whatever it is. But really, there's a lot of key patterns within human psychology that are playing themselves out inside of you that odds are, if you haven't really began to look into them and investigate them, you're going to be completely unaware of the fact that they're even there. And whether you're aware of them or not, they're still there, and they're still dictating a lot of the things that you're doing, a lot of your preferences, a lot of the reasons why you like art over, let's say, mathematics, or why you like accounting over playing sports or whatever. So right off the bat, we actually want a good understanding of why our personality is the way it is. Why are some people naturally more charismatic, whereas some people have to like work on it extra hard, but they might be better at like math or something. And we have a lot of course, preferences. So these two really go together, personality and preferences. Now, in relation to direction and basically where you want your life to go, what you want it to look like, you absolutely have to have a very deep and nuanced understanding of your own personality. And there are, of course, a lot of ways to do this. You can also read a lot of books on like emotional intelligence by Daniel Goleman, great book, social intelligence, things like this, and they can help you to understand where you are lacking in certain key areas of life. Another really good test to take is the multiple intelligences test. That one is phenomenal. And also, I can say that you have to actively observe yourself. Like, what I mean by that is actively observe the things that you do and don't do. So do you stay inside and read a lot of books, or do you go out to a million parties and network with a lot of people, and why? And really look at all the key things. Do you exercise? Are you very scheduled? Are you very conscientious? Do you take responsibility, or do you kind of put things off, have more of an anything goes attitude, and are you just kind of like flexible and it's all kind of whatever? It's not a big deal. Take it easy, man. Which one are you more leaning towards? And not only that, it's not like you have to be one or the other, like you have to be introvert or extrovert, but there's a whole spectrum really, and trying to figure out where you are on that spectrum is very helpful. Now, moving on, enough about personality. You got to just take the tests and observe your life, observe the things that you really like to do, and contrast them with things that you're not doing and that you're not interested in, and actively think about it, actively watch yourself. Key word there is active, like it's you got to intentionally do it and actually do it, very practical. Moving on is exploration. What I mean by this is basically any kind of adventurousness, or just, of course, exploration of basically any aspect of reality, whether it's the inner world, you go on a meditation retreat, or you observe emotions, how they work, you do psychotherapy. These are all great. All the way to the outer world, like going to Colombia or Peru or wherever, China, wherever it is. So of course, inner and outer travels are fantastic here. And of course, another big facet is education, really. Reading a lot of books. That is also under exploration. You actually have to explore various ideas, even ones that you at this, at your current, point in time, at this current point in time, even the ideas that you disagree with. And this is a very courageous act. We don't really like the ideas that we disagree with. We're very close to them. We like to struggle and fight against them. But I'm going to encourage you to do something very counterintuitive, and that is to stop fighting against all the ideas that you don't like, and that is to just, instead of that, have an open mind. Actually read Buddhism, read quantum physics, read psychotherapy, read psychology, read cultural evolution, read whatever, read spirituality, read some New Age, read some Eckhart Tolle, read some developmental psychology, child psychology, read some biology, read some, Indian Ramana Maharshi, actually seek to investigate all the various ways that humans are seeing the world and look at all of these perspectives. Read some, liberal politics, read some conservative politics, and look at all of these perspectives as though they're like basically like a lens that you're looking at the world through that you can change at any time. So you want to develop your mind to the point where it's flexible enough to basically hop in and out of all of these perspectives without really having a deep attachment to any one of them. So you want to be very non-ideological. You don't want to be very fixed. You don't want to be very close-minded and rigid. And basically all of these qualities are the qualities you want to move towards when it comes to your direction in life. And all of these qualities are kind of the ones you want to, of course, avoid. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this one. Avoidance can basically be any form of even distraction or just putting something off, like you'll do it tomorrow, when really you should actually buy the book and actually do what I just said. And whatever, get started on writing or book a flight to Colombia, like I said, whatever it is. Actually do it, put it actually into your life, into, practical experience. Distractions, of course, are huge. Watching too much TV, video games, porn, junk food, going out with your friends when you shouldn't, when you should stay at home and work on something. And sometimes, maybe staying at home is a distraction. Maybe sometimes you gotta go out and just talk to people, just approach people, start talking to them. Now, I want to talk about adding value. Adding value is really important for your direction, because if you're not adding value, you'll just be a leech. And to be quite honest, you can't really just be a leech. Reality just doesn't work that way. You can't go your whole life just leeching value off people. First of all, it's really not, you're not gonna get the things you really want out of life. Like the highest, most pleasurable things that really give you a deep sense of fulfillment. A lot of this stuff occurs with selflessness, giving, obviously receiving as well. But really what I mean by this, let me put it in a little bit of a clearer way. Let's say you're in a relationship, for example. You can't just get. Both people have needs, and you actually have to have the care and empathy to get the other person's needs met. Give them the attention they need, the love, the support, help them to feel safe, secure, help them to feel valued, help them to feel listened to and heard, etc. So adding value is, of course, a great source of pleasure, actually, if you are really attuned to it. So adding value is important for your direction, whether it's, of course, creating fantastic art to inspire people. That can be a source of value. You can be adding value that way. Making a fantastic delivery service, whatever it is, whatever thing it is. Creating Amazon, for example. Really, you want to do something that involves, of course, other people as well. Like, you're not going to be completely isolated for the most part. Probably not from all of humanity. You want to also do something that gives back and contributes to humanity. You don't really want to be on this earth kind of just like a leech sucking it dry and then kind of dying, and it doesn't really work that way. You can't actually live your life that way. Eventually you're going to have to add value in some way to get something in return. Like you're going to have to work 8 hours a day to get a paycheck. So you're giving value to receive value. So you want to consciously figure out how you're going to be adding value so that you're not an unconscious leech, basically, because that's, I mean, if you're not consciously creating some kind of direction where you can add value, you're going to be unconsciously creating some kind of lower quality direction that you're not really passionate about and just leeching, and you'll probably feel like a victim. So being closed-minded and rigid, I haven't really talked too much about this one. This one is going to be a huge pain in the ass if you want to create a conscious direction. You definitely don't want to be closed-minded and rigid, especially when it comes to exploring information, like I said. So I personally have read a lot of very profound books on various traditions like science, complexity, systems thinking, Buddhism, evolutionary psychology, to psychotherapy, to developmental psychology, various forms of science, biology, chemistry, physics, spirituality, Christianity, Hinduism, Zen Buddhism, other forms of Buddhism, Dalai Lama, you know, what else can we, like neuroscience, what else can I find in here? Whatever. Get the point. Books on addiction, Gabor Mate. So the point is that you want to be very open. You want to like notice how you close your mind. Notice when your mind is closed, and there's a distinct feeling that happens in your body, and there's an emotional quality that's happening inside of you when you're closing. And you want to actually pay attention to that and open yourself up. Notice when you're rejecting information, like, no, that's just nonsense, no. And I want you to instead just be open. It doesn't mean you have to actually take on the information that you're hearing, like just on faith, but your mind is just open enough to the point where you can just hear it. You can just listen to it without reacting against it or struggling or fighting it. See, most people can't do that. Most people are too closed-minded and they're too ideological. They're too closed and fixed in their beliefs to be able to actually listen to something radically different from what they think and just be okay with it. To just sit there and just be okay with it. Most people deeply struggle with that. That's actually a skill to develop. And it's not an easy skill because we're so identified with our beliefs, with our preferences, with our personality. It seems, it basically gives us a deep sense of security and overall safety in life. And that is obviously important, but really when it comes to creating a conscious direction, something that we love, we have to go beyond our basic security and our basic sense of safety. Really, we're not going to find the things we want just in these like lower impulses, just the need for like sex, food, shelter, safety, security, comfort. These are all great, but really the juice of life happens past that, of course. It happens in things like exploration, happens in things like self-actualization. And self-actualization doesn't, it actually includes all of the lower needs. So things like safety, comfort, sex, this all gets used for growth actually in self-actualization. All of these are not seen as like a hindrance to growth. They're actually seen as a catalyst for growth and becoming more aware and becoming more conscious, more loving, etc. So that's basically it for this video. When it comes to developing a conscious direction, you actually have to open yourself up very radically. Like I would highly recommend buying a lot of nonfiction books. Like actually sit down and read some books that might scare you, to be honest. Like expose yourself. This exploration point is one of the biggest ones because the world we live in is so vast, so expansive, that we don't really understand what the hell is going on here. We don't really get the big picture of this thing that we call reality. We are just such a small fraction of it, and we are in such ignorance of what is really going on here in the world. And we don't like to open our minds to that for the most part. We avoid that one. But really, like, the fact that we're closed and rigid and very stuck in our ways, we're very habitual, like this is a very deep problem when it comes to finding what you really love, this is not going to help you at all. So you really do need this openness, and you have to absorb information that is challenging for you. Actually have the courage to just drop your beliefs and stop being so loyal to a specific set of ideas that is just running on loop in your mind. Kind of like a record player just going round and round in circles. Actually seek to really change how your mind is actually interpreting reality and even your whole relationship to reality. Change how you relate to an uncomfortable feeling. Change how you relate to people. Change how you relate to blah, blah, blah. So you have to really explore and investigate what's going on. And this is something that we don't do because we like to stay stuck in our habits, in our comfort zone. Of course, as corny as that sounds, it's true. And really, it's more so the inner world that I'm really talking about right now. Exploring your own feelings and what they are, what they actually feel like, actively feeling them. I have a video how to handle uncomfortable feelings. Watch that one, very good. All of this emotional work, reading emotional intelligence, reading social intelligence, like all of these things, they come together. And really, you can't wait for this stuff to hit you, although sometimes it will. You also have to be open to new possibilities and open to change and just having your preferences changed, having your personality changed, having your beliefs completely changed, even thrown out entirely. You basically have to be open to various forms of change and new things because reality is impermanent. Everything is constantly changing. Everything is in a flux. Your sensations change. Your thoughts come and go. People come in and out of your life. One moment you're with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and then they leave to go to the bathroom. That's impermanence right there. It's coming, going. Everything is changing. Your body's changing. Atoms and all the atoms are vibrating. Everything is in constant flux. So you have to open yourself up to change, exploration, and just radically new things. And finally, you have to actively do it. That's really the key thing. You have to actively do it. You can't just watch a YouTube video. Really, I would recommend a book. If you're a male, if you're a very masculine male, I would recommend a fantastic book called The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. And really anyone who wants to develop direction, this is a very important book because it's all about a lot of our more masculine qualities. And whether you're a very feminine woman, you still have some masculine parts to you. And whether you're a very masculine man, you still have a lot of feminine parts to you. And really this book, The Way of the Superior Man, it's very fantastic for understanding a lot of these parts in ourselves that are designed to take direction and create direction. Another good one, I believe, is, here it is, Finding Your Element by Ken Robinson. How to discover your talents and passion and transform your life. Now, that's really good as well. But this is enough for this video. I want you to just be more open, really. Just honestly and sincerely investigate something totally different from what you currently think reality is, from what you currently think you are, from what you currently think you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing, from basically open up your mind to completely different things in all categories of your life, whether it's your dating life, your career, your income, how you feel, your emotions, what you believe politically, what you believe, whatever. Just be open to change. Don't be so rigid. Don't be so closed. That is one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to creating a direction, is that it's too fixed, it's too rigid. We believe we already know what we should do or what we shouldn't do. We believe we already know all these things. We believe we know who should be voted into office and who shouldn't be, and how we should feel and how we shouldn't feel, and this and that. So really, I want you to get that you don't know as well. That there's basically when it comes to any area of life, it's dominantly filled with unknowns. We as a species are very ignorant. This world is too vast for a species like mankind to fully comprehend, at least now. There's simply too many new distinctions, too many new discoveries, too many different things to relate to one another for us to just have it all figured out. We already know what this is, we know what that is. And humans are very biased towards the known because it gives us comfort and security. And what I'm telling you to do is to toss out everything you know and be completely open to something that you didn't think was possible, really. Be completely open to something that you thought was impossible, that was just insane. Be open to new information and actively seek out new information. My channel is loaded with a lot of challenging information for many people that, if taken seriously, can lead to very radical personal transformation. And even more than that. But that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And other than that, take it easy.